Hey everyone, Value Add Mike here today to discuss my predictions for 2023. For those who don't know, my name is Mike Taravella, Value Add Mike, and me and my business partners manage over $80 million in commercial real estate. And today I really want to discuss what I think is going to happen in 2023. First off, everyone has a crystal ball, everyone has their own opinion, but in my guess is that 2023 is going to be still an amazing year, but I think it's going to be different compared to what other people think. I don't think the world is going to end. I don't think multifamily assets are going to crater. I think there's just going to be a very opportunistic time, which I think many people disagree with. But I think it's just going to come down to you and your team's outreach as opposed to waiting for the world to end, the floating debt market to crash, etc. So I think first off, having a strong outreach program to investors that are actually doing deals, because if you're sitting on the sidelines now or have been the last 6 months, I don't think you'll be seeing a ton of opportunities, because I know our groups have been calling brokers consistently, underwriting deals, and submitting offers that still make sense for us. However, we've taken a little bit more conservative approach because we really want to make sure that we have a built-in safety net when coming to it. So I think debt will continue to get harder to get in terms of interest rates will continue to rise. I think Q1, Q2 will stabilize a little bit, but then I'll see another uptick in Q3 and Q4. I think this will be, which will reduce the leverage on our current loans, which will reduce the probability of people refinancing. I don't see a ton of I see some opportunity with floating rate debt. I see some opportunity with some bridge, but I think the groups that bought 1.5 or years or later have already reached a lot of capitalization because they bought so well and values have gone up. However, the people who could have bought in the last year or so may have a tougher time in the next year or two to refinance. So what we're looking to do is making sure that we have long-term fixed rate debt, or even looking at loan assumptions that have 4+ years left on it so that we can continue to buy, operate the property, and just really make sure that we're going forward. I still don't believe that there's going to be an entire flash sale when it comes to debt, because it just in 2008, 2009, 1.6% or less than 2% of commercial loans defaulted. So I still think there's opportunity to buy. I don't think the world will end on the debt market, but I think those are powerful pieces. I think when it comes to rents, I think rents are going to go up still. I don't think the 20% increase that we've seen in many markets over the last 2 years, but I think it's really going to depend on location specific. I think the heavy tourism markets will slow down. I think the automotive, I mean, you've heard Amazon cutting, and even on the All In podcast, a lot of the venture capitalist group are really saying, and entrepreneurs are saying, shore up your balance sheets to make sure you can survive the next 2 to 4 years. And we're taking that same approach when it comes to our deals. Yes, we still project rents to go up, I'm sure on average 3%, but in 2008, 2009, on average, rents went down, and then they went back up, and they barely went down as a nation. So I think it's really hyper focused on your location. So making sure that you have diverse employers, diverse job types. Being from Detroit, 08, 09 was not pleasant because heavy automotive and not ideal. So make sure you have those sectors. Make sure those jobs that are getting published are still going through with those expansion plans, and to make sure to vet yourself. And lastly, I'm just very cautious, and I've always been cautious in my career of doing bridge debt. Yes, we do community bank debt, but we really make sure we have a good rapport. We're doing longer term mortgages so that we can make sure that we can survive. Because like I said, if rents go down for 2 years and they go back up for 2 years, that's 4-year term. So we just want to make sure we have long-term fixed rate debt that we can go through, get another year or two of interest only to make sure that we can go through those times with cash flow. So I don't think the world's going to end. I think there's still a ton of opportunities. I still think there's mom and pop sellers. There's going to be opportunities, and we've seen early in Q1 a lot more brokers, a lot more debt being asked, and just a lot more interest from sellers. And I think there's and the brokers did an amazing job of recalibrating expectations Q4. So shout out to you, brokers. And yeah, I think there's just going to be a ton of opportunities. So our goal this year for 2023 is to acquire 100 million in commercial real estate, and we're just excited to document our journey. So if you have any questions or any interest, click on the link below to subscribe to our updates. And until then, we'll take over the world together.